App and Trustpilot? Well, it's always expanding, but with an excellent rating and over 2 million reviews, let's just... Greetings, my internet friends. This is a video about some of my favorite recipes I've been making lately, but I also wanted to share some of the non-food related things that have been feeding me, because when we are fed in our lives by our community, our sense of purpose, our sense of hope, we rely less toxically on some of these easy, simple vices, food being one of them. When I feel worthy of love, when I feel a sense of curiosity, that sense of stability ripples out into my relationship, to my diet and my body. And when I'm trying to control food, it's most often because I'm having trouble reckoning with the truth of life. So I've just been bringing a lot of awareness into the non-food related nourishment around me, including regular movement, having a good media diet online, and
Good
with the books I'm
morning.
reading,
Hi,
sleeping
everyone.
really well. I just invested in some earplugs, which has been game changing, and just getting excited about how I
Hello.
want to
Good
express
morning.
myself in this world in general, connecting to love and deep
I
gratitude,
was
deep
just
awareness of my
up
miracles
straightening
once
up
a
my
day is
room.
truly
I
a
do.
thing
This
that fills my
apartment has a
body with
lot
most life
of
force. So keep
closet
in
space.
mind
It's
that
one of
this
my
is happening
favorite things
quietly
about
inside
living here.
beneath the
Let me
surface.
turn this down. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about living here is like the amount of closet space that it has. So I was just kind of up. I always wake up super early. Um, there's so much right now going on in my life, and I am so just really very depressed. Depression is really kicking my ass, and I cannot sleep well, deeply. Um, I went to sleep pretty early, so that's another thing. If I went to sleep early, I'm gonna wake up early. Anyway, I just wanted to wake up, kind of go live, straighten up my room a little bit, roll up, maybe do like a live read with me or something first thing in the morning. I am reading a couple of books right now. Um, get down, Mittens, and stop. 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 Stop, stop, stop. Get down. Stop. Chicken Soup for the African American Woman's Soul and The Fiance. Look at that cover. I love that cover. It's so cute, pretty, blood splattered. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do this morning. Um, I wanted to make me some coffee, but I'm gonna have to run to the grocery store and get some coffee. Oh, Cheetah wants to come in. You wanna come in, Cheetah Beats? Come on, come on. Let me tell you. But yeah, I was watching this girl, and I'm so happy that I came across one of her videos because just yesterday I was trying to think of what her name was here on YouTube and who she was, and I could not find anything in my history where she was in my history at all. And so I finally came across one of her videos this morning. She is, dang it, I went off of it. But anyway, she is the creator, Hitomi Mochizuki. Mochizuki is spelled Hitomi. That's the first name. And the second name is Mochizuki. She's really beautiful. She's really like holistic and calm. And she releases some of the like really, really beautiful conscious living videos. living consciously, eating whole foods, being mindful. She has some really good content for like that type of stuff. So I really like her. So I was listening to that while I hang up my stuff that I have.
Have you ever wanted to get connected into your roots? My name is Michael Motokara Oki.
Making and receiving it, notice world in general, connecting to love and deep gratitude, deep awareness of my having trouble reckoning with greetings.
I'm just
My
gonna
internet
start it
friends.
over
This is a
again.
video
I'm gonna
about
put
some
it up
of my
here.
favorite recipes I've been making lately, but I also wanted to share some of the non-food related things that have been feeding me, because when we are fed in our lives by our
And my Cheeto, he
community,
wants
our
to
sense
come
of
up.
purpose, our sense of hope,
Hold
we
on.
rely less toxically on some of these easy, simple
I wanted
vices,
you to
food
be able
being
to
one of
hear
them.
it. Wait a
When I
minute,
feel
baby.
worthy of love, when I feel a sense of curiosity, that sense of stability ripples out into my relationship, to my diet and my body. And when I'm trying to control food, it's most often because I'm having trouble reckoning with the truth of life. So I've just been bringing a lot of awareness into the non-food related nourishment around me, including regular movement, having a good media diet online and with the books I'm reading, sleeping really well. I just invested in some earplugs, which has been game changing, and just getting excited about how I want to express myself in this world in general.
Because I've been
Connecting
kind
to
of
love
going
and
through
deep
my own thing,
gratitude,
I
deep
wanted to
awareness
find
of my
some good
miracles
comforting
once a day
videos
is
to
truly the thing
watch
that fills my body with the most
this
life
morning.
force. So keep in mind that this is
And
happening
Nikita
quietly
Beatles always
inside
wants me to
beneath
hold
the
him.
surface. Food is such an intimate relationship to so many things, to a sense of security, to a sense of comfort, and for me it feels really familial. Every single time even that I enter into a new relationship and I'm falling in love and I feel all of my fears of unworthiness come up, I feel a tendency to binge eat more, kind of like I'm comforting myself but also trying to self-destruct at the same time. And overall, bringing intention into my meals, bringing prayer, bringing
You
good
love which book? The
feelings
Chicken
is
Soup for the Soul
something that I
book?
want to promote and share. Food
Make
as
sure that you
ritual,
all
food as
subscribe
medicine. And before I
to
ramble
my
too
channel,
long,
please.
these are just some recipes I've been eating, and my main prerogative is to slow down and just enjoy the process of making and receiving it, notice, feel, and try to eat without distraction. Yakisoba noodles have been a favorite of mine for years, and I would most frequently get pre-made packages of this from the Asian grocery store, but it is so easy to make. So I'm sauteing all of the veggies you see here and first tossing my tofu in cassava flour. You can also use cornstarch. This gives the tofu such a different texture. I'm just frying them in a little bit of sesame oil while sauteing my onion, garlic, and carrots. I just slowly add in my veggies depending on how quickly they cook, and this cassava flour gave the tofu a kind of mapo tofu texture. It's so yummy and kind of creamy. And then I just added in the rest of my veggies, my sauce, and my noodles. I let them sit for a little bit too long, so they were breaking, but I highly recommend, if you're going to meal prep this, to make your noodles the day of, or to undercook your noodles so that when you add them all together and stir fry them, they don't get overcooked. But this is so delicious and addicting. I make it once a week. One of my most consistent rituals lately is taking AG1. It's a daily drinkable scoop of vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food source ingredients in one, validated by research. AG1 helps your whole body, brain, and gut health thrive. It's designed to replace multiple supplements by covering nutrition gaps with a comprehensive blend of nutrients. I usually take it in the morning right after breakfast, and I notice that it supports my energy levels, probably because it has adaptogens and B vitamins. And I also love that it's good for my gut health with its prebiotics and probiotics. So easy to take with me on the go as well, especially with their mini travel packets that come in their various flavors. Right now, AG1 is offering a free bottle of vitamin D and AG1 travel packs on top of the welcome kit when you subscribe. It won't last long, so go to drinkag1.com/hitomi or scan the QR code to get started. Thank you so much to AG1 for sponsoring today's video.
This white bean miso soup is full of my favorite flavors. It's creamy, has the perfect texture, and a little bit of tanginess. Using these simple ingredients, it comes together in about 10 minutes. I start off by sauteing my leeks and mushroom, and then get my sauce prepared, which is simply soaked sunflower seeds, miso paste, nutritional yeast, soy milk, a little bit of shoyu, and lemon. The lemon you can add to taste. I like a lot of lemon, so I ended up adding the juice of an entire lemon throughout this soup, but this is a preference. After all the leeks and mushrooms have sauteed and cooked, the last thing that I add is my kale and white bean so that they don't get overcooked or fall apart in the soup. I saute those until they're soft and wilty, blend my sauce together, and pour it into the pan. From here, I just mix the sauce in, and the soup is pretty much done. I like to add a few more seasonings. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of garlic powder and cumin, but my favorite thing to finish this off with is another generous squeeze of lemon, and it is tart, tangy, umami, just so delicious, and also has a lot of protein because of the white beans. I'll add a little sprinkle of cumin on top and some fresh green onions. It's addicting, I'm just gonna warn you, but it is great meal prep and is a good reliable soup to have in your rotation. If you regularly make rice and have leftovers sitting in your fridge, this is a great recipe for you. I start off by crisping up some day-old rice with some sesame oil and just plate it up with cilantro, sauerkraut, avocado, edamame, and I normally add cucumber to this. And then I made this really simple lemony tahini sauce. I love tahini sauce. It's nutty, and I just drizzle that over everything and eat it with some nori. It's so simple. This is my first meal of the day, and I'm so excited to eat this. I just wanted you to hear the crispiness and the crunchiness of this rice. Of course, adding any other protein that you would like to this. I love making bento boxes out of this. I made some for my girlfriend the other day, and I put tuna in hers, canned tuna, and she was obsessed with it, so highly recommend. It's so quick. It just tastes really light and refreshing. I normally add cucumber and carrot to this, but I didn't have any today, so just whatever veggies you have. Especially sushi vegetables, like wrapping it up in this piece of nori with the creamy avocado is just gonna be fire every time and tastes like a hand roll.
Hey, Meta, film this.
Don't feel like cooking a whole turkey this Thanksgiving, or really any time of year, a turkey drumstick is the perfect solution. It's easy, it's fast, and you still get all those cozy holiday flavors without spending hours in the kitchen. Plus, you get the best part, that crispy golden skin and juicy dark meat that tastes like a mini Thanksgiving feast all on its own. Today, I'm going to show you how to cook a turkey leg that is juicy on the inside, crispy on the outside, and absolutely packed with flavor. So grab a drumstick and let's make this happen. I'm going to be cooking this turkey drumstick in my Tasty air fryer, which I've been using since February of 2024, a really, really long time now. And I love their upgraded ceramic coated basket that ensures that all of my cooking is toxin free. I also love this built-in temperature probe. This allows you to get the perfect temperature in whatever meat you're cooking every single time. And I'm actually going to be using it with today's recipe, so I'll show you exactly how it works along with the amazing presets that are built into the Tasty. I also love the design of the Tasty. It's compact and it fits on a countertop perfectly. It has a 5.5 quart basket, and I love the digital display on the top, and I also love that there's a window built in to the front of the Tasty so you can look inside and see how your food's doing and not have to open up the basket. Holiday cooking does not need to be stressful. With Tasty, you can make every meal healthy, easy, and absolutely delicious. Use my code to get an exclusive $40 off if you purchase on their website, and if you purchase on the website and use my code, you're also eligible for a free holiday gift set. This includes silicone tongs, 30-piece paper liners, a cutlery set, and an exclusive digital cookbook that includes one of my recipes. The link to this amazing deal, one of the best I've ever seen Tasty offer, is in the description below. Be sure to take advantage of this amazing deal this holiday season. Let's get this drumstick in the taste. Already ate most of the spatchcock turkey that I made a couple of videos ago, so we are ready for another. Now this is your 1.38 pound turkey leg. That looks really, really good. We can kind of pull the skin up a little bit more. I want the skin to get nice and crispy, so we're gonna make sure it's up there. I think I'm actually gonna rinse this bird off and then pat her dry, and we can get it with some seasonings. So for any kind of poultry, I pretty much do the same seasoning all the time. So if you have my book, Complete Carnivore, you can turn to the back and believe it is over by the sauces and spices. Here we go. Okay, we've got the chicken and pork seasoning is on page 348, and this will give you the recipe for this, but we're just gonna be just sprinkling it on today. It's garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, and salt. And I also like
Fire every time and tastes like a hand roll. So we got the crispy rice.
in today's episode. I see tahini.
Yeah, it's that lemon sauce.
Oh my god.
This is yeah. Anyway, just wanted to feed you. This is what I make when I'm craving something chocolatey and nutty. I smash a bunch of medjool dates and drizzle tahini sauce on top. You can use any nut butter that you like. And then my favorite kind of seeds to add are hormone balancing seeds like sunflower, sesame, and pumpkin seeds. But I also added furikake onto these, and then I drizzled them with chocolate that I melted, just pure dark chocolate, and then finished them off with a few more seed clusters on top. You can really do this with any variation of toppings, but you freeze them for an hour, and they are such a good, reliable snack that really hit the spot and are very satiating. I'm filming this video throughout 1 week, and I was severely craving pickles today, so I thought I would make some on camera. I have more recently gone into traditional pickles. For most of my life, they really turned me off, and I'm not sure why. I would eat kimchi, I would eat pickled onions, but gherkins, like something about it. I didn't even realize that pickles were cucumbers dipped in vinegar. But in the past 2 years, I started dabbling with pickles while going to Turkey and going to these little villages. And inside the pickle jars, they had things like cauliflower, carrots, zucchini, like all different kinds of eggplant inside of their pickle jars. And I was like, wait, this is actually so good. And then I started branching out into the gherkin world. I loved them. I think I'm putting too much salt because these are big flakes of local salt that my friend gave me. It's good to just line the bottom. Salt levels adjusted, but basically I really love pickle jars that are full of different kinds of veggies, and I'm gonna try to make that today. So I'm gonna make a lemon zesty pickle situation. This is dill, 2 with dill and 2 with more of a spicy garlic jalapeno vibe. I love spicy pickles. I can't really hang with sweet pickles. That does not do it for me at all. The more frequently that I put myself out there in the pickle world, when I'm in the grocery store and I'm trying different jars, it's really just heartbreaking when I buy a jar and it's not the flavor that I want. It's not the spicy, garlicky palette that I want, and so I have resorted to making my own. Most of the pickles that I've eaten in my life have been from like the village, you know, from some auntie making them, and they have their very special little recipes that I have not been blessed with. But yeah, I guess I am very picky with my pickles, and I'm standing on that. So we're starting off by making a brine. I'm gonna put 2, 3 cloves of garlic in there, and then 2 cloves in here, and then let's see, let's put a little bit of curry powder. I'm making a zesty dill. Actually, no. Do I want that? I'll do like the tiniest little bit, a little zesty vibe. I would love to put some za'atar in these, but I don't have any. So we're just going with some black pepper. In the spicy garlic one, I'm going to put jalapeno. Wish that I had some chili powder, some chilies to put in there, but I don't. So Also gonna add like a teaspoon of mustard seed, a little bit of sugar into the cucumber jars. I gotta hit the beat, but the beat keeps kicking in.
Ready to lose weight? Think Wegovy.
With Wegovy, I've lost 35 pounds.
I lost 46.
For the first time, the cucumber jars. It's been a while, y'all. I know you know, since I've shared any recipes, anything relating to diet or food, because it's hard enough to exist in a human body and figure out how to fuel yourself well without tons of judgment, without this feeling that there's a right and wrong way to eat or a right and wrong way for your body to look. And I just needed to take a step back from any sort of like commentary and feedback on that. It's such an intimate thing, what you choose to feed yourself. I've been in healthy, regulated places. I've also been
It
in
really
like
is.
deep spells of confusion.
And I like that this, oh, I'm dropping stuff, that this girl just made about food and about how hard it is to eat, to fuel yourself, to find what you really like. And that point is important because it's really good to be mindful about how we judge the way that other people eat and how we comment on, even if it's just that we're going out with a girlfriend and she eats something that you maybe wouldn't eat or you maybe wouldn't like. You don't have to comment on that. Like, it's okay to shut the hell up about how other people eat and what other people, how other, I have been around people that are so judgmental and ignorant about the way that other people eat and the food that other people choose to eat. And I think that that's really, really rude. And I think that people should stop and shut the hell up and be mindful of not commenting on and making people feel alienated because of the way that they eat or what they eat, whatever. That's really weird and really ignorant.
In like deep spells of confusion. Had one or two dips back into binge eating. Very minor, but just noticing me wanting to use food as a coping method to avoid feeling my feelings, quite literally stuffing them down. It feels terrible, but the more quickly I forgive myself in those moments, the more quickly I just return to a regulated place. And I feel like so much dysfunction and imbalance happens when we are avoiding our feelings. And so the first thing that I try to do when I feel like shaming myself in some way, and then all those self-harming actions that follow, is try to deconstruct that shame around what I'm feeling, letting myself be kind and speak kindly to myself when I feel like disappearing, instead of being like, oh, I can't believe I'm 27 and still struggling with sadness. I can't believe I'm still here having these same thoughts. And my immediate knee-jerk reaction is to think that, and that only prolongs the length at which I am feeling like shit. And the moment that I start speaking kindly to myself, I just move through it. And it's such, a non-intuitive thing that like you have to love yourself through those bullying, hateful thoughts that you have about yourself. Has been the only way through, is just returning back to love as quickly as possible. And it's just been a very big theme in my life. Let me just say that. That's why I've disappeared from the internet more and more, because I have been struggling with my mental health and not feeling like it's okay for me to, in the midst of so many crazy things going on and with all of my privileges. And I've basically been in a prolonged state of like not feeling valid enough to take up space if I'm not doing something productive in society or sharing something positive online. And I'm just learning to be present with myself through all phases. And
I like that.
if I can continue being an example of that or sharing something positive online and dealing with my mental health and not feeling like it's okay for me to, in the midst of so many crazy things going on and with all of my privileges, and I've basically been in a prolonged state of like not feeling valid enough to take up space if I'm not doing something productive in society or sharing something positive online. And I'm just learning to be present with myself through all phases. And if I can continue being an example of that, that is going to be fulfilling enough. And I'm just giving myself some grace because I really do love sharing on here. And I know that I don't need to show up any type of way, that I'm creating this little world and we're creating this community together. So yeah, I've just been having some deep moments with myself. I've been at the bottom of the well in some of this space off of the internet, but I've also been really happy and really discovering myself. I'm in the midst of my so-called Saturn return. I'm learning to rely on people and ask for things and need people, which is so scary, but also feels so good. I'm just learning how much I need family in my life, and I've kind of like denied that for a while. Anyway, I just put some sugar snap peas into here, broccoli, carrot. This smells so good. In here, I'm going to put carrots. I love a pickled carrot. I feel like I want to be way more of a witch in this era of my life and just make more concoctions and little ancestral medicine.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance,
Good morning.
Hamas must disarm. Instead,
Tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they were.
Medicine. I've been talking to a therapist about my issues with food and body image. For the first time ever, I've never spoken to a professional about that, and it's been so eye-opening. And when I put all the puzzle pieces together from my past, from my conditioning, it really makes a lot of sense why I constantly feel like my body is wrong and that something about it needs to change. And
Like, not only is it rude because you don't know, not only is it rude to comment on people, how people eat and their choice of food, because you don't know what they're going through on a personal level. You don't know what trauma a person has surrounding food, whether they are anemic, bulimic, or just a overeater or whatever. But not only that, but also your food is deeply connected to who you are as a human being, as a person. How you choose to eat most of the time comes from your family origins, your mother. You know, you have very fond memories of food with your mom and your friends and stuff like that. That's not something that you can necessarily control. That just is what it is. And people should really leave people alone. I guess that's my whole thing. I don't understand what the hell is so hard about leaving people alone and letting, as long as they are not harming themselves or harming other people, leave people alone and be supportive instead of a fucking jerk.
my body is wrong and something about it needs to change, and
How
how
do I
present
be?
certain belief systems existed in my family and my mother. And I was meditating earlier and putting my hand on my gut. I was feeling a little bloated yesterday and I was like, oh, I wonder what I ate. And my body was just so grateful that I'm able to listen so deeply now and listen so lovingly to when it feels out of whack. And I really just started feeling my mom, how much I saw her shame her body and speak negatively to herself, and how I have the power to end that ancestral curse that I know was passed down to her from all of my forefathers. No, from all of my foremothers. And I'm excited to be kind to myself and almost love myself the way that I wish that my mother did. You know, I sometimes would shame her for not teaching me certain things. I felt kind of abandoned from her or by her at times with how much more guidance I wish that she gave me. And her response would always be, I didn't know. I didn't know these things that you're wanting to learn. I didn't know how to teach you because I never learned. And I didn't understand that. I couldn't let it go. I wanted her to be something that I can't even be for myself. And if I could have that high of an expectation for her, let me try and have it for myself. Let me try and do it for myself, you know, because I've touched levels of love and belonging that neither of my parents probably ever did. And to expect them to regard me, to communicate with me like my friends do, is a really big ask and must feel so foreign to them. And I am growing up with better circumstances than they did, and it's a struggle for me. It's a struggle for me to always communicate well. It's a struggle for me to reprogram these hateful thoughts about the way that I look. And so it's just been a really wonderful return to compassion. All of these little reflections. There's also an immense sense of relief knowing that a lot of the ways I feel about myself are not just my fault. They've been passed down. We live in a patriarchy. People profit off of our insecurities. Anyway, let's pack in order. Let's see who the lucky person's gonna be. Sophia. Let's see what she gets. Sophia ordered 2 sugar cookies. So yummy, so delicious to die for. She also ordered mocha. Gorgeous, beautiful, love it. Also, chocolate. Anyway, I made those a little bit too tall, and you want everything to be completely covered by the liquid so that they ferment and they don't get disgusting. Basically, the way that my friend taught me is that you fill up your pickle jar with hot water up until about 2 fingers, and the rest you pour vinegar into. For bigger jars, it's more like 3 or 4 fingers. And the secret to very crunchy cucumber pickles that my friend Rank shared with me is to pickle them in their full form before cutting them. I did not find the small pickles. I couldn't find gherkins, and I couldn't find the Persian cucumbers that would have fit in here easily, so I just got normal cucumbers and already chopped them up. So these might be a little bit mushier than I would like, but that's okay. These I'm going to let sit for 3 to 5 days. These I'll let sit for about 2 days because I know they'll ferment and pickle faster, and then put them in the fridge. This is looking sexy. Very excited. This is so satisfying. I highly recommend making pickles. It feels so like auntie. It feels so ancestral. I hope to see you in a video soon. I hope that wherever you are at in your relationship to your body, you can just be slow with it. Take your time with your feelings. Breathe deeply into the moment and know that it is okay. And the sooner that you bring love to those parts of you that feel so unworthy of it or so scared of it, is the sooner that you will feel safe, return home, and be able to move from that part of you that really knows who you are, that knows that you're worthy, that knows that you have the same infinite potential as everyone else. And so I invite you to be slow and return to love, especially in those achy, small, shadowy places. That's what I'm trying to do out here. Thank you so much. I will see you in a video soon. Okay, bye.
Busy, busy, say hi.
Etsy Top 100 gifts are here. So congrats. Your holiday shopping has been done for you. Got a her, him, pet, or kid on your list? Etsy experts curated their top picks for everyone, no matter their vibe. How can I improve this background for my time reviews? Try removing some of the smaller items to declutter. The studio has upgraded.
Oh my goodness.
I used to think that tea was just tea until I learned that the right blends could actually completely change how my body handles stress, digestion, and mood. So now I build my days with tea rituals in mind, from morning to afternoon and to the evening. each one designed to tell my nervous system exactly what to do. And no, it's not just chamomile before bed. So in this video, I'm going to show you the different herbal teas that I drink throughout the day to support my nervous system, my gut, my digestion, and my overall health. I'm going to share a variety of different drink options that you can make so that there's something for everyone. So let's first start with my morning tea ritual. I used to rely on caffeine for bowel movements in the morning. And it got to a point where if I didn't have my morning coffee, I wouldn't be able to poop. And that's when I knew that my digestion was out of whack. And that's when I started looking at different herbal ingredients that could really support my digestion and help me poop without the caffeine. And that's when I stumbled upon this ingredient called aged mandarin peel, also known as tempeh. Aged mandarin peel is great for digestion. Whenever you're feeling bloated, whenever you
all those purrs.
That's shocking news. You're dead. Yeah, how'd you know? Welcome to the junction, where you choose one place to spend eternity and who to spend.
Hey guys, it's Haley, and welcome to another bookish video.
Get out, you're gonna fall. Oh my goodness.
Today we are getting into some hidden gem thriller recommendations. Mostly thriller, a little bit of spooky horror vibes, but all hidden gems. These are thrillers that you probably haven't heard recommended, but when I read them, I knew that they needed more hype, so I have compiled a list of my top 12 that I've read recently to share with you guys. But before we get into the book recommendations, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Vegucated. And I love Vegucated. If you've never heard me talk about them before, site really courses on this year of access to Vegucated for only $69 with my code HaleyHughes69. This deal is only going to run until pleasure this holiday season and get a year of Vegucated for only $69. Thank you so much to Vegucated for sponsoring this video, and now let's go ahead and get into the hidden gem recs. I want to start out with one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It was a backlist title. It's not something that I hear talked about often, but it was a book that absolutely blew me away. And that is Those Girls by Chevy Stevens. I have not felt the feeling that I got reading this book since I read my favorite book of all time, which is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. And I've been a fan of Chevy Stevens' writing, but I feel like the ones that I see recommended from her backlist are Still Missing and Dark Roads. And while I did enjoy my time reading those thrillers, Those Girls was a totally different, completely transcendent thriller experience for me. We are following the story of three sisters who live in an abusive home, and they decide one day to escape. But what befalls them on their journey out of the home is debatably worse than what they were suffering with their father. So they're trying to outrun their family, outrun the new horrors that they've met in the outside world, and then later in the book we flash forward to see how that trauma follows them into present day. It's very similar to the themes in Pretty Girls: resiliency, how we depend on each other as women, as sisters, as survivors. It is so emotionally intense. This one will keep you up all night reading. It is so fast-paced and twisty. These main characters, and really all of Chevy Stevens' main characters, but particularly these girls, go through the ringer. It's truly so rewarding and so satisfying to see the characters develop resilience and this arc throughout the course of the book. And of course, a nice, twisty, explosive ending is welcome as well. This was a 5-star, without a doubt, hidden gem. I cannot believe more people aren't talking about this book. And let's go ahead and follow it up with another amazing 5-star read from this year. This is another one I don't hear a lot of people recommending, and it is You Deserve to Know by Aggie Bloom Thompson. This is in a very different vein from Those Girls. It's a more domestic thriller about a group of couples who all live in a cul-de-sac together, and they end up
switching around, getting shady, hiding things from each other, maybe stabbing each other in the back. It's giving very Secret Lives of Mormon wives, except if there was a murder that happened over the course of uncovering the drama in the seasons. It is just pure fun. The characters are so conniving. The drama is so juicy. It's twisty and it has this like very cutting element to it. I think if you like reality shows like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, if you're just intrigued by suburban rich people drama, you're going to eat this up. But it's not just a fun twisty ride, it also has the emotional impact as well, and that's why it's a 5-star read. I have my eye on Aggie Bloom Thompson. I really think she's gonna come out with some great stuff. I really like everything that I've read from her so far. So not just a hidden gem book, but a hidden gem author as well. Next up, we have Someone Had to Do It by Amber and Danielle Brown. This is one that I read a couple years ago, and it was such an easy 5-star, and not enough people read this book. This one is absolutely incredible. We are following two perspectives. One is an influencer, and she's like at the top of her game, and she lives this very glamorous life, but she also has secrets and a lot at stake if those secrets were to be exposed. And then we're also following an intern at a fashion house who comes into contact with this influencer at an event, and she overhears the information that could take this girl down. The intern perspective is so compelling because she is a young Black woman caught up in this predominantly white, privileged world of fashion and influencing, and we see how this like scrappy little gal claws herself up. It's a story that feels like Eat the Rich, like a little bit of a takedown, but also exposes some of our main characters' flaws as well. It's about betrayal and feminism, classism and racism, but also at its heart, it is a twisty, fast-paced, unput-downable thriller. Like I said, when this came out, not enough people read it. So if you missed this one that I recommended a couple years ago, pick it up. It's still a 5-star all-timer. Another thriller that I loved a few years ago is The Collective by Allison Galen. This one had me in an absolute chokehold. If you are like me and you can go down Reddit rabbit holes for hours at 2 a.m., this is for you. It's about this woman whose daughter was murdered and she never got justice, who she believed committed this murder. So she gets caught up in Reddit rabbit holes online, and it goes a little bit deeper than that because she ends up getting into the dark web, specifically this group called The Collective, and they basically are a vigilante justice group. After she gets involved in The Collective, she starts to lose herself, and we are looking for the answers to so many questions in this book. Who is The Collective? Who started it? What's it all for? Is it all kosher? Who actually murdered this woman's daughter? And there's also a secondary mystery that unfolds itself as well. It's so layered, it's so fast-paced, the ending twist is insane. It is such a good thriller, and I feel like it's never on enough recommendation lists. Next up, we have a recent release from this year, and I don't think it got enough hype at all. That is Don't Open Your Eyes by Liv Constantine. If you know me, then you know Liv Constantine is one of my favorite author duos. They wrote one of my favorite thrillers, which is The Last Mrs. Parrish, but they continue to write a banger after banger, including this one. If you like the classic like amnesia trope in a thriller, you're gonna eat this one up. We have a super unreliable narrator, and she is seeing weird visions in her dreams. She starts to write them off as just like nightmares induced by stress until the things that unfold in her nightmares start happening in real life, and she is losing touch with what's in reality versus what's a dream. Her memory is having issues. She doesn't know if she can trust herself, and we as the reader don't know if we can trust her. It's just a thriller that keeps you guessing all the way through to the end. It was so easy to read, and I had so much fun with it. If you like a domestic thriller with a super unreliable narrator, you will love this one. Next up, I have a YA recommendation, but when I read this, I actually was unaware that it was YA because of how effectively it's written. I think this is great for any reader, not just a young reader, especially if you like dark, twisted thrillers that comment on real life happenings, and that is Grown up into this world of music production, and the adults around her prey on her. It is loosely inspired by R. Kelly and everything that happened around that situation, but we are taking the minor's perspective in this book, and it is heart-wrenching. It is such an amazing character-driven story. We see how young artists, specifically young female Black artists, are preyed upon in the industry, but it's through the lens of this heart-pumping, twisty thriller. It will keep you on the edge of your seat and also have you in tears. This book just does everything for me, and of all of Tiffany D. Jackson's books, I feel like nobody talks about this one, so it's a hidden gem in her backlist for sure. Next up, let's talk about Copycat by Alex Lake. This is another one that I read this year, and it just has such an interesting premise. We're following this woman who one day sees a profile of herself on Facebook, but it's not her profile. It's her name and her photo, but not hers, and none of the posts are from her, and she didn't take any of the pictures that are on this page. However, they are all pictures and accurate descriptions of her life and what she's been doing. So she's immediately aware that she has a stalker, and we go on this wild journey to figure out who is doing this to her and why. This domestic thriller is so effective in building tension and suspense. I just had to know who was behind this and what their motivation was, that I kept flipping and flipping and flipping pages till the end, and it gets so dark. Like, there's a little bit of like gore and horror in this thriller, so if you like something that's a little bit more intense, even though this seems like a really straightforward domestic thriller, I think you would really love it because it goes to that darker place. And this is another one that I don't really hear people talk about, so it's definitely a hidden gem. Next up, we have a thriller that I read eons ago, and I kind of stopped recommending. Honestly, I think I just forgot about her, but it's time to bring her back around and start recommending her again. That is For Better and Worse by Margot Hunt. Now, this just looks like another disposable domestic thriller about a husband and wife that are cheating on each other and treating each other like shit. And it kind of is that, but this book has such a wild pace. I stayed up all night to finish it when I read it. So this is about a couple. Both of them are lawyers, and their child gets into some legal trouble, but instead of putting this in the hands of the court system that they know to be quite corrupt, they decide to handle it themselves with less than legal means. And it is so insane. If you like something like The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, you are going to eat this up. It doesn't have nearly as much hype as that book, but I think it's just as well done, if not better. The pacing is insane. It will have you on the edge of your seat, and the ending twists are phenomenal. Next up, we have one of my favorites from the last couple years, and that is Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. This thriller is incredible. We are juxtaposing two women's lives. They're in kind of similar situations, but they come from drastically different means and positions in society. One woman is this wealthy white woman with this seemingly stable family, but she needs to escape her husband and the toxic marriage that she's landed herself in. And then we're following a poor, kind of down on her luck Black woman who is struggling to support herself and her son and escape an abusive partner. One day, their paths cross in the middle of traffic, and their lives become intertwined. They end up seeing the ways that they relate to each other and the blind spots they have in each other's experience. So it has some really great social commentary, but that definitely doesn't overwhelm the fast-paced, twisty plot. This is another one that I would describe as unputdownable. It is heart-pumping. It is incredibly done with the tension and suspense. The writing in this book is just impeccably done. I love L.S. Stratton's word choice, and the fluency of her books is just beautiful. This was such an easy 5-star, and another one that I feel like people don't talk about enough. Next up, I had to sneak a little bit of horror in here. So we have We All Rot Eventually by Mia Ballard. This was a recent read for me. I read it during Happy Halloween, my October readathon that was taking place in the lead up to Halloween, and it was by far my favorite book that I read for the readathon, and I think it is so underrated. Like, I know people are aware of Mia Ballard now. I have one of her books back here, Shy Girl. This is my favorite book of the year so far. And people love Shy Girl and they love Sugar, but if you haven't read We All Rot Eventually, you have to read it. This is a little tiny horror novella. This character in less than 100 pages is more developed and more tangible than characters that I read in entire 400-page novels. We are following a girl who is an aspiring actress in LA in the early 2000s, and she has this insatiable hunger, not only for fame, but also for blood. And it talks about the ways that we have to sacrifice our identity for the pursuit of our dreams and the demand for blood in order to achieve glory. It's so well done. The vibes are impeccable. Like, the aesthetic of Mia Ballard's books is always just so well done. The sensory experiences in this book are visceral. The horror is explosive at the end. This one is so severely underrated. I mean, I think Mia Ballard is underrated as a whole because she's one of my favorite authors now.
I think that I want to listen to
is ingenious. If you are
an
a
audiobook.
Lana Del Rey, vinyl, ultra-violence era type of girly, read this. Lana Del Rey, vinyl, ultra-violence era type of girly, read this immediately. Next up, we will get back into thrillers. We have The Lying Club by Annie Ward. This is perfect for winter. We're entering the winter season, and this is a very snowy thriller. It follows really a town more than its residents. We have a lot of perspectives in this uppity little wealthy town. So if you like rich people drama, this is perfect for you. And at this hoity-toity school, one morning, as it's beautifully snowing outside, they wheel out 2 bodies. So over the course of the book, we are following all these different perspectives, like I mentioned, trying to narrow in on different suspects and figure out who was responsible for the deaths of these 2 people at this prestigious school. It is full of juicy drama and twists. This is another one where I feel like reality TV, you're going to eat this up. The drama, the secrets, the lies, all of that feels so big in this book. And the twists are so well done. The atmosphere is so well done. The wintry atmosphere stands out so much to me when I think about reading this book. So it's perfect for the season, and it's never one that I see on any wintry, holiday style thriller recommendation videos, but I'm here to recommend it for you now. And then lastly, to wrap up our top 12 here, I have actually my most recent read that inspired me to make this video, and that is Whistle by Linwood Barclay. This is one that I haven't heard too much about, but everyone has got to pick it up right now because it is phenomenal. We are following this mother and son, and they've been through some incredible loss, just these really horrid tragedies recently. So they end up moving to this small town in upstate New York in this big beautiful house to escape. But in alternating parts of the book, we are following what happened in this town in the early aughts around trains. And it just so happens that in the present day timeline, this woman's young son finds a train in the house, and chaos and destruction ensues. And when I'm saying chaos and destruction, I'm not talking about some paranormal activity bullshit where the cabinets are closing. No. I'm talking about complete destruction. The feeling that this book gave me in my body was not just uneasy, it was fear. I have not read a thriller that put the fear in my body like this book since I read Stolen Tongues a few years ago, and I was struggling to get myself to walk through my house in the dark. It is so effective in its horror, but the fast pace of the thriller does not leave you. There's a core mystery that keeps you flipping pages, and the character arcs are so well done. I felt so close to all the characters in this book. It is just so good, and if you missed the reading vlog of me reading,
I'm gonna pick a library book for my digital library. Audio book to listen to. to listen to while we're live. Just kind of smoke and maybe crochet and listen to something. I have like, I've got all 10 books that I'm able to have on my shelf, on my Libby library. So I've got Out There Screaming, which is like an anthology compilation book of horror and thriller stories, short stories by Black authors. And it is, what part of it is done by Jordan Peele? It's edited by Jordan Peele, and the introduction is done by Jordan Peele. You know, he's done a lot recently with Black horror and Black thrillers. And he's been good. So I like that book. I've gotten through like the first 1 or 2 stories of it. That's been okay. I also have Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough. I have Educated by Tara Westover, which is a book that I also physically have. And that's about this girl who, her and her family were actually raised like in a different type of way by her parents, or was it by her father? I think it was by both of their parents. Her and her siblings were like raised like out in the wilderness, and they were taught everything that they know by their parents. But what happened was one of the older siblings ended up, I think, running away or leaving home, and he was so like, once he got out into the real world and it wasn't nature anymore, and he wasn't just surrounded by his family, he was so taken aback and discouraged by all that he didn't know about stuff, just general stuff that everybody else was like, you don't know that? And he would be like, no. So he ended up writing her a letter and being like, yo, you really need to get the fuck out of there, because like, yeah, you know, I guess they were loved and this, that, and the other, but he really felt like they were also shortchanged on a lot of things. And he wrote his sister and he was like, you need to get out of there and you need to start learning all this stuff that you need to learn about life. And so that's what it's, you know, the title of it is Educated, and that's what, you know, started her own journey of teaching herself, and she ends up going to university and this and the other. I thought that sounded really fun. I also have The Beast You Are by Paul Tremblay. I'm reading Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay right now. That's another one that I have right here. I got pretty far into that one too. That was good. Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I don't know what The Beast You Are is about. I don't remember what that one's about. But Horror Movie by him is about this movie that was made. And it kind of reminds me of like, you know how like after movies, like the Poltergeist movies and the Exorcist movies, after those movies were made, a lot of bad, weird things happened to a lot of the actors and producers and things of those movies. Like a lot of those people had some bad, unfortunate things happen to them. Well, this book, Horror Movie, is kind of based off of a lot of the lore of that. It reminded me of that because this book is about a cast of people who are making a movie called Horror Movie. And they make it or whatever, and after they get done, bad things happen to all of the cast except for one guy. So now this one guy, it's like 30 years later or whatever, this one guy that has survived this long, there's somebody else who wants to remake the movie. Kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer has been remade again in 2025 or whatever. So they want to remake the movie Horror Movie. And he's like, I don't think that you should. So, yeah, I listened to a pretty good chunk of that too. And I've got Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. I don't know how in the world I'm going to get through all of this stuff in the 2-week span that I have with him. I doubt that I'm going to be able to, but that's also really why I want to go ahead and take some time out this morning and get started on these. I have another Toni Morrison book, God Help the Child. I noticed that I haven't read a lot of the classic blacks that I really want to get into, like Langston Hughes, Toni Morrison, Zora Neale Hurston. I've kind of skirted around them, but I haven't really dived deeply into them the way that I really want to. And so I think this season of my life, I'm ready to get into some Toni Morrison, especially since some Toni Morrison and some Zora Neale Hurston, all of those people. Also because my daughter, she's in her senior year of high school this year, and she had an assignment to read Their Eyes Were Watching God. First she had to read Song of Solomon in the like when the school year first started, by Toni Morrison, and she kind of struggled with it a little bit, but she ended up reading it and she ended up liking it. And I was like, I think maybe I want to get into reading the Song of Solomon and see what it is, but I didn't get to get into it at the time. But right after that, then she got to read Their Eyes Were Watching God. So we watched the movie to that together, and she, she liked the movie or whatever, and I think that she was a little bit easier able to kind of see the book with her mind's eye a little bit easier now that she watched the movie with me. So that was good. Their Eyes Were Watching God was produced by Oprah, and it's starring Halle Berry and the guy with the real sexy eyes. His name is escaping me. Oh, he's got the beautiful eyes, and I cannot think of his name. I'll put it, if I make a clip of this, I'll put it in the description. In the bottom of the screen. But she liked that movie, and that was good. So I said all that to say I'm kind of looking forward to diving into the Black classics, more of the Harlem Renaissance authors, not just Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston, but some of the lesser known Harlem Renaissance authors too. That's going to be fun. So yeah, let's find what we want to listen to. I think maybe I want to start a fresh book for this live. I guess I could go with The Guest by B.A. Paris. I also have that. I like her, B.A. Paris. I listened to Behind Closed Doors by her a couple weeks ago, and that was really good and enjoyable. So, in this one, The Guest is about a lady who, her and her husband are going through some problems. So she moves in with another mutual friends of theirs, another married couple, and basically overstays her welcome. She's basically the worst. So she moves in with them and starts doing too much, and they want her ass out, but I don't think she's going for it. So that sounds good. Natural Beauty. What's that? By Ling Ling Huang. Musicians with Fletcher and one night leaves her parents debilitated. She abandons her future for a job at a higher pay. So I don't know. Okay, so that sounds good. Natural Beauty. So it says our narrator. It says sly, surprising, and razor sharp. Natural Beauty follows a young musician into an elite beauty-obsessed world where perfection comes at a staggering cost. Our narrator produces a sound from the piano no one else at the conservatory can. She employs a technique she learned from her parents, so also talented musicians who fled China in the wake of the Cultural Revolution. But when an accident leaves her parents debilitated, she abandons her future for a job at a high-end beauty and wellness store in New York City. Holistic, that's cute how it's spelled. Holistic is known for its remarkable products and procedures, from remoras that suck out cheap Botox to eyelash extensions made of spider silk, and her new job affords her entry into a world of privilege and gives her a long awaited sense of belonging. She becomes transfixed by Helen, the niece of Holistic's charismatic owner, and the two strike up a friendship that hazily veers into more. All the while, our narrator is piled with products that slim her thighs, smooth her skin, and lighten her hair. But beneath these creams and tinctures lies something sinister. A piercing, darkly funny debut, Natural Beauty explores questions of consumerism, self-worth, race, and identity, and leaves readers with the shocking and unsettling truth. Maybe that's what we'll get into this morning. Let's see how long it is first. It's pretty freaking long, I'm sure. How long is it? Oh, it's not even an audio. God damn it. You have to read that with your Kindle. Oh. And I'm already reading enough on my Kindle, with my Kindle. I'm reading, on my Kindle, I'm physically reading Shirley Jackson's A Haunting on Hill House, and also I Know What You Did Last Summer. I didn't know that was a book. I had no idea that I Know What You Did Last Summer was a book released in the 70s. I think it was like 1973. The things you learn. And then they did the movie in the early 2000s, and they just redid it again, like this year sometime. Okay. So I guess that's not gonna, I'm not gonna do that right now. The Cabin at the End of the World. That also sounded interesting. That was a movie too. This is audio. Now let's see. This is about the people who come to the little girl's house, and they tell her that she has to get her parents to come outside or something like that to save the world, or something to do with the saving the world. Let me see. 7-year-old Wynn and her parents, Eric and Andrew, are vacationing at a remote cabin on a quiet New Hampshire lake. Their closest neighbors are more than 2 miles in either direction along a rutted dirt road. One afternoon, as Wynn catches grasshoppers in the front yard, a stranger unexpectedly appears in the driveway. Leonard is the largest man Wynn has ever seen, but he is young, friendly, and he wins her over almost instantly. Leonard and Wynn talk and play until Leonard abruptly apologizes and tells Wynn, "None of what's going to happen is your fault." 3 more strangers then arrive at the cabin carrying unidentifiable, menacing objects. As Wynn sprints inside to warn her parents, Leonard calls out, "Your dads won't want to let us in, Wynn, but they have to. We need your help to save the world." Thus begins an unbearably tense, gripping tale of paranoia, sacrifice, apocalypse, and survival that escalates to a shattering conclusion, one in which the fate of a loving family and quite possibly all of humanity are entwined. The Cabin at the End of the World is a masterpiece of terror and suspense from the fantastically fertile imagination of Paul Tremblay. Yeah, I remember that movie coming out. I didn't see it, but I definitely remember it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm just read the last couple of books that I have in my last couple of book descriptions that I have in my Libby library, because I never get to really talk about my Libby audio books on my channel. So we already did horror movie, Out There Screaming, Educated, Cabin at the End of the Woods. We talked about The Guest, but I didn't read the thing. Ooh, let me do that. I'll read you the synopsis for The Guest. New York Times bestselling author B.A. Paris captivated psychological thriller readers everywhere with Behind Closed Doors. Now, yes, she did, honey. Now she invites you to another home full of heart-pounding secrets in The Guest. Some secrets never leave. Iris and Gabriel have just arrived home from a make-or-break holiday, but a shock awaits them. One of their closest friends, Lori, is in their house. The atmosphere quickly becomes tense, and as she oversteps again and again, sleeping in their bed, wearing Iris's clothes, even rearranging the furniture, Lori has walked out on her husband and their good friend Pierre over his confession of an affair and a secret child. Iris and Gabriel want to be supportive of their friends, but as Lori's mood becomes increasingly unpredictable, her presence takes its toll. Iris and Gabriel's only respite comes in the form of a couple new to town, but with them comes their gardener, who has a checkered past. Soon, secrets from all their pasts will unravel, some more dangerous than they could have known. Now, that bottom part is what's getting on my nerves. Like, Iris and Gabriel's only respite comes in the form of a new couple in town, but with them comes their gardener. Like, I don't really care about the new couple's gardener. I gotta see how that part sits with me and how she writes the new couple's gardener into things. I don't know if I necessarily care to read about. But I'm gonna have to see. I don't know why in the world that's getting on my nerves. So that was The Guest. Insomnia by Sarah Pembroke. Emma can't sleep. Check the windows. It's been like, oh wait a minute, no, I started at the wrong part. My bad. In the dead of night, madness lies. Emma can't sleep. Check the windows. It's been like this since her big 4-0 started getting closer. Girl, don't I know it. Lock the doors. Her mother stopped sleeping just before her own 40th birthday. She went mad and did the unthinkable because of it. Looking on the children. Is that what's happening to Emma? Why can't she sleep? Insomnia is the twistiest and most gripping thriller since Paula Hawkins' The Girl on the Train, an absolute must-read for the suspense fans. Joe Hill. Joe Hill. Who was that? He's known. I feel like I've read him or I know him or something. Anyway. And then the last two books are the Toni Morrison books. No, I have one more. That's not a Toni Morrison book. The Beast You Are by Paul Tremblay. A haunting collection of short fiction from the best-selling author. Oh, okay, so this is another anthology, from the best-selling author of The Pole Bearers Club, A Head Full of Ghosts, and The Cabin at the End of the World. Paul Tremblay has won worldwide acclaim for illuminating the dark horrors of the mind and in novels and stories that push the boundaries of storytelling itself. The 15 pieces in this brilliant collection, The Beast You Are all monsters of a kind, ready to loudly and lovingly smash through your head and into your heart. In The Dead Thing, a middle schooler struggles to deal with the aftermath of her parents' substance addictions and split. One day, her little brother claims he found a shoebox with the dead thing inside. He won't show it to her, and he won't let the box out of his sight. In the last conversation, a person wakes in a sterile white room and begins to receive instructions via intercom from a woman named Anne. When they're finally allowed to leave the room to complete a task, what they find is as shocking as it is heartbreaking. The title novella, The Beast You Are, is a mini epic in which the destinies and secrets of a village, a dog, and a cat are intertwined with a giant monster that returns to wreak havoc every 30 years. A masterpiece of literacy, horror, and psychological suspense, The Beast You Are is a fearlessly imagined collection from one of the most electrifying and innovative writers working today. I guess I could have sat down while I did this. I didn't expect to get so wrapped up in reading the synopsis for the library books, but I mean, for my Libby library books, but I mean, it's fitting. It makes sense because right now I haven't really been able to read a lot of the synopsis for them. I just downloaded most of them this week, and so it's time for me to get into a new one. And by me gonna, go ahead on and listen to something this morning for a couple of hours, it makes sense to go ahead and read the synopsis. So I might as well sit on down. I should have been sat down. I'm hungry. I want to make something to eat, but something light though. I really don't want anything heavy. And I need to go to the grocery store. I really do. But I want some, like maybe I'll make me a smoothie or something before I make a cup of coffee. I need to put something on my stomach. I did not eat all day yesterday. I came in here and I ate 2 crackers with chicken salad on it. Count them, 2. 2 crackers with chicken salad on it. And came in my room and just laid down, had me a moment. I laid down, and before I knew it, I was asleep with no help, no aid, no nothing. Like, life has been lifing lately, and I got an attitude. I really do. Like, it has been one whack thing after the other, and it's starting to piss me off, baby. It's starting to piss me off. Because I don't like stress. And I said this in my other videos. I hate stress. But I mean, I guess stress is life. And I guess this part of my life is going to have that. But that, it sucks. It really does. It really, really sucks. And it's really heavy. And it's a lot on you. It's heavy on your heart and on your mind and things. Oh. Goodness. So I've been kind of not really eating, not really sleeping, trying to read more, trying to pray more, and be there for my mom more, and be there for my family a little bit more. So that's been different and tasking too. Also, some other things in my life changed where I had to make some adjustments, and I've been adjusting, I guess, okay. I'm kicking and screaming a little bit. Oh, I won't say I'm kicking and screaming. In the beginning, I was kicking and screaming. Now I'm then I went down to kicking. Now I'm just kind of got a little bit of an attitude. Because I'm starting to adjust to it. As long as I can, keep on my schedule, keep on the schedule that I've been having, I should be okay. Stick to my schedule. And as long as my commute to work isn't hard or super annoying, then I'm really stay stress-free. Oh my goodness, get down. He is terrible trying to get from the window. Come on, baby. You want me to get up there? Go ahead. You want me to get you? You got her? Hi, sweetie. He loves it. He's so crazy. So, okay, back to the books. Now, the last 2 are Toni Morrison books. God Help the Child by Toni Morrison. A powerful, a tale that is forceful as it is affecting, as fierce as it is resonant. Mikoko Kakutani, New York Times. At the center, a young woman who calls herself Bride. While stunning blue-black skin is only one element of her beauty, her boldness and confidence, her success in life, but which caused her light-skinned mother to deny her even the simplest form of love. Okay, wait a minute, let me start over because I didn't read right. At the center, a young woman who calls herself Bride, whose stunning blue-black skin is only one element of her beauty, her boldness and confidence, her success in life, but which caused her light-skinned mother to deny her even the simplest form of love. There is Booker, the man Bride loves and loses to anger. Rain, the mysterious white child with whom she crosses paths. And finally, Bride's mother herself, Sweetness, who takes a lifetime to come to understand that what you do to children matters and they might never forget. Okay. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that this morning. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Published in 1970, is the first novel written by Toni Morrison, winner of the 1993 Nobel Prize in Literature. It is the story of 11-year-old Pecola Breedlove, a black girl in an America whose love for its blonde, blue-eyed children can devastate all others, who prays Okay. Honey, not me having to learn how to read again. I get it. Maybe I do need to be physically reading me some Toni Morrison because this is the way she be writing. Even just descriptions is kind of confusing. Okay, it's the story of 11-year-old Pecola Breedlove, a black girl in America whose love for its blonde, blue-eyed children can devastate all others, who prays for her eyes to turn blue so that she will be beautiful, so that people will look at her, so that her world will be different. This is the story of the nightmare at the heart of her yearning and the tragedy of its fulfillment. Okay. I think I'll probably read this one before God Help the Child. That sounds a little more interesting. So, I guess for this morning, it's a choice between The Guest and The Cabin at the End of the World. Let me see what The Guest is doing.
Macmillan Audio presents The Guest by B.A. Paris, narrated for you by Emily Joyce. For Sophie, thank you for our precious silent witness moments together in The Hague. I will always treasure them. Prologue. Gabriel handed a glass of champagne to Iris, then gave one to Esme, his fingers shaking slightly on the stem. I didn't drink at all at the christening, so I'm allowed this, Esme said. She looked over at Iris. Thank you for inviting us back here. It's lovely to be able to relax now that it's finally over. Iris smiled. You deserve it. It was a great day, though. Hugh raised his glass. Here's to Hamish. And his mum, of course. And to you, Gabriel said, proud father. The four of them drank, and Esme gave a contented sigh. Gosh, I've missed this
Yes,
so
this
much.
is a reading channel.
Hugh raised his glass again.
Thank
Iris,
you.
Gabriel, it's been one hell of a summer. Here's to happier times. A silence fell on the group. Gabriel cleared his throat. Thank you, Hugh. As you said, an almighty explosion, followed by the panicked rustling of birds taking flight from the trees, drowned out the rest of his words. Iris's heart thudded, echoing the boom still reverberating in the air, and then deathly silence. For a few seconds, they were a tableau frozen in time. Gabriel and Hugh standing, their champagne glasses in their hands, their heads turned towards the sound of the explosion. Iris, the alarm in her eyes mirrored in Esme's. Even baby Hamish paused in his nuzzling, and Esme, the instinct to protect her child automatically taking over, tightened her arms around him. Reassured, he went back to drinking, his tiny legs kicking under his blanket, the only movement in the stillness. I hope that wasn't the house, Esme joked, breaking the spell the explosion had cast over them. Not after all our hard work. Maybe I should... Hugh stopped mid-sentence, his attention caught by something. Iris followed his line of vision and saw black smoke billowing into the sky. In the distance, a siren wailed, then became louder. Gabriel turned to Hugh. Shall we go and take a look? Good idea. It looks a bit too close to home for comfort, Hugh added, his voice low. He looked over at Esme. We won't be long. Esme waited until they'd left. As long as Joseph hasn't blown himself up, she said, detaching Hamish from her breast and shifting him to the other side. I'm so disappointed in him. Hamish settled. She stretched out her free hand and laid it on Iris's arm. Thank you for taking him home before he became completely out of control. I only suggested taking him home because I didn't want everyone to see him in that state. Iris paused. Do you think he fell off the wagon before today and managed to hide it from everyone? I don't know, but I'm furious and disappointed and everything else in between. I'm beginning to regret asking him to be Hamish's godfather. She looked suddenly nervous. He didn't say anything, did he, when you and Hugh took him home? He tends to shout his mouth off when he's drunk. No, Iris said. Don't worry. I should have been up front with Hugh in the first place. Esme fretted. It doesn't matter now. Joseph is leaving tomorrow, isn't he? If he's sober enough. She moved Hamish to her shoulder and began to pat his back, and as Iris listened to her chattering about the christening and how lovely it had been, an extraordinary sense of well-being flowed through her body. For the first time in months, she felt at peace. Oh, they're back, Esme exclaimed. Iris turned her head towards the terrace, but before she could register that anything was wrong, Esme had thrust Hamish into her arms and was hurrying across the lawn towards Hugh. Alarmed, Iris caught Gabriel's eye, and her heart dropped at the desolation on his face. Moving Hamish to her shoulder, she took comfort from the warm, sleepy weight of him, and as she began rubbing his back, her eyes fixed worriedly on...
No. Not really in the mood for that one, neither. Let's see. Now, also, I have my books on Audible. I had downloaded a couple of juicy things too. Oh my goodness, it's making me have to freaking sign in on this device. Ooh, Jesse Q. Sutanto released a new book. Ooh, that's fun. I like her. She will. I'm not done with you yet. She wrote a couple of books that I really liked. What the heck is she talking about? Next time will be our turn. Ooh. Yay. Ooh. Liv Constantine has a new book out too. My Daughter's Sister. It's only released only from Audible. My Daughter's Sister, and also with it, Silent Echo. That sounds good. Anyway. I have downloaded a lot of this new author. Well, she was not my new, but she's new to me. I'm just now discovering her. Her name is Tanisha Stewart. A lot of her books are on Amazon. She's urban fiction. Oh my goodness. Her title sounded interesting. Okay, so I downloaded quite a few of her books. Betrayed by My So-Called Friend by Tanisha Stewart. Wish I Never Met Her. The Delinquent by Tanisha Stewart. The Patient, The Student. She's got a lot of those thriller titles that I like, where it's just like the, and then a word like The Patient. Those are always fun. And she's a new Black author that I haven't read before, so, you know, hopefully I like her, you know, like I like Brandon Massey and, you know, the other people, Frida McFadden, and she's always fun. Sherry LaPena, hopefully she'll be good. And also what I like about a lot of her books are they're not real long. They're like 3 hours, 4.5 hours. That's not bad. That's always fun too. Okay, let's see what they're talking about now. Betrayed by the so-called friend, by my so-called friend, is just an hour long. So maybe that's what we'll do. Like, I'm not understanding. Oh. Oh. Well, I wasn't. It's annoying. Okay, so Tanisha Stewart, one of the books. Wish I Never Met Her. This is part of a horror series, the dating app horror series, book 3 in it. Quincy Rogers has a good woman right in front of him, but he can't see the forest for the trees. Instead of embracing the one who loves him, he chases tail on a broad new dating app, a dime a dozen. Quincy needs to see if the grass might be greener on the other side. He figures the woman he has will give him another chance, and he'll do the right thing later. Unfortunately, Quincy will soon learn that tomorrow isn't promised, and neither is the rest of today. That's hilarious. Goodness, that is very, very true. Cause see, he's seeming like he about to get on somebody's nerves. Oh, and anybody got time? That's hilarious. That sounds cute. Okay, so that was Wish I Never Met Her. What is? I'm gonna also do. All right, Betrayed by My So-Called Friend by Tanisha Stewart. Again, part of another series by the Betrayed series. This is book 1. June is in an online relationship with the man of her dreams. Not online relationship. With the man of her dreams, Jermaine. He is the first person she met that seems to know her before they ever even spoke. Although they have never met in person, she is sure he is the one. But there is only one problem. Her beloved Jermaine isn't real. She is being catfished by someone very close to her, someone she thought she could trust. Oh, the stupid. Oh, that's hilarious. No. I might have to do that one too. We just might have to have a day of listening to the foolishness and just stay live and make it a thing, maybe. So, I downloaded quite a few. Let me see. The Delinquent by Tanisha Stewart. Ooh. They said she needed help, but the real help she needed was escaping this place with her life. Nia Smith thought her biggest problem was her parents' crumbling marriage. But when she's framed by a crooked cop and sentenced to Bordeaux Behavioral Hospital, she finds herself trapped in a living nightmare. At first, the hospital seems like a place of healing, but Nia soon discovers the horrific truth. It's an underground chamber of torture, experimentation, and death, all concealed behind a gleaming facade, ruled with sinister precision by the corrupt Dr. Jekyll and her sister, Officer Hyde. Hilarious. Nia becomes a target for their sadistic experiments. As the vicious treatment takes its toll, stripping away her grip on reality, Nia must find a way to expose the hospital's monstrous secret before it's too late. But with the entire system pitted against her, does she have any hope of escape? With the clock ticking down to the day she'll be declared a failure, Nia's only chance rests with her high school sweetheart, Swift, who is hatching a do-or-die plan to bust her out. If they can outwit the diabolical staff and unmask the hospital's criminal conspiracy before time runs out, they may just save Nia and the countless other innocent victims. But with twisted minds controlling her every waking moment inside the asylum's walls, can Nia maintain her grip on the truth long enough to survive and expose the hospital's horror? Her fight for freedom has begun, if only she can survive long enough to see it through to the very end. Wow. Okay. I might have found me somebody new that I like. I love finding a new author, and especially a new Black author, a new Black female author. Yes. That makes me very excited. So, The Patient by Tanisha Stewart. So, The Patient is summary. A morbid, chilling, and deeply disturbing tale. The Patient is a pulse-pounding psychological thriller by the best-selling author of Everybody Ain't Your Friend and the Quiet One series. After a rough upbringing, Nina thought she was destined to be one of the have-nots until a surprising turn of events catapulted her into everything she ever wanted. The best days of her life, however, quickly turned into the worst experience she ever faced. Diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, Nina is told she has less than 6 months to live. Her health is failing rapidly and time is running out. Nina is doing everything she can to survive. But what if her demise is the goal? What if sickness isn't her only problem and there's a killer in her midst? A pulse-pounding drama full of twists and turns, this series is fast-paced, straight to the point, and packs a powerful punch that will keep you on the edge of your seat. The Red series is composed of self-contained stories that can be listened to in any order. Yay! That sounds, I don't know, that book sounds a bit deep, a little bit more than what I care for right now, but still interesting though. The Student by Tanisha Stewart. Very good. This is fun. Yay, I'm feeling much better too. I'm gonna have to pick one quickly though so I can put this on the charger. It's about to be on its last little bit of battery juice. So The Student by Tanisha Stewart. Dive into the mind of a disturbingly troubled college student in this pulse-pounding psychological thriller by the best-selling author of Everybody Ain't Your Friend and The Quiet Ones series. Knock it off and stop. Nicholas always strived for perfection. Nicholas always strived for perfection. But he never could measure up to his mother's unreasonable demands. His hopes of passing the prerequisites for the pre-med program at the prestigious Plankton University are dashed when he fails out. He has almost lost hope, but maybe he can find it in psychology until he encounters Professor Jackson. For an introductory class, her standards are way too high. As time wears on, Nicholas feels like he's in over his head. His mother doesn't know his secret. Professor Jackson won't let up on his grades, and sooner or later, the walls will come crashing down around him. Maybe Nicholas can reason with Professor Jackson. Maybe he can make her see his point of view. Maybe they can come to an agreement about his grades. Because the only other alternative is to kill her. A pulse-pounding drama full of twists and turns. The series is fast-paced, straight to the point, and packs a powerful punch that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Cute! The Student. That sounds a little more interesting. But I guess for right now, I do want to get into Betrayed by My So-Called Friend. That sounds a whole lot better than what I was getting ready to listen to. That B.A. Paris book. I gotta be in a different mood and different frame of mind for that kind of right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good British thriller. I love a but I need to wake up. I need to wake up with some bullshit. So I want something a little more fast-paced, a little more up right now. He is terrible. Now he wants to come back in. I'm going to have to do a video where I read and show you what I have in my audio library. The things that I've read and the things that I want to read in my audio library on Audible. My library is kind of good. I have a lot of books in Audible, so I would go through and just pick out. Like, I still have the Ethic series on there I listen to. There's still a lot of other books that I really want to get into that I haven't gotten into yet, like The Spite House by Johnny Compton. I have a lot of John Mars on here too. Love him. I have really yet to be disappointed by any John Mars book. He's another British author that I love.
This is Audible.
Betrayed by My So-Called Friend. Written by Tanisha Stewart. Narrated by Regina C. King. Prologue. June had listened to Casey Ann's lies for the last time. Come on, baby, he was saying. He placed his hand over hers for emphasis as he gave her his now infamous puppy dog look. It took everything in her power for June not to roll her eyes. You know how